To wait a minute in case burp.
Right, it's live. Hello,
I'm
everyone.
ready.
Hope you're okay. It's been a while. You right, Jen?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's been ages since the inquest. We've just given a bit of time to respect the wishes of the family. Oh, and also we've had our own family things going on. It's hard, isn't it,
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
live?
It's
But
not
I hope
been good.
everyone's well. My thoughts are with Nikki's family today because I can't imagine what they're going through today with all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, like how we've been feeling after today. I,
It's
times that.
overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, times that by 100, and you're probably even just a little bit close to how they're feeling. But
Yeah,
what?
because about a lot of the things that they thought, um, they might have been proven today by what Peter said. But it's kind of like putting that
I can't
image in
see.
their mind, isn't it, a little bit, as well as seeing Nikki in a fetal position. It's going to be difficult for them, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. But
And then having it on the inquest from the police review, isn't it? Like the complaints review.
yeah, it's just I just don't know what to say about it all really. Like when it all come out, first of all, I started reading, you know, Sky News because it come out, and then halfway through it, it announced what Peter said, and I was just like, I looked at um, Joe, and I was just like, what? And she was like, what? And that's because I was reading it out loud. So then after that, it just all went literally crazy. Like I was looking on Twitter, and my mind was just literally exploding. I was like, I'm so confused. I really am confused. And then we watched the interview that he done with Luke, and
Yeah.
because at first I was like, well,
Fair
why,
play to Luke. That was a really good interview, by the way. Luke, what's the name of his channel again? I keep forgetting it.
I can't remember.
Oh God,
What again?
I'll pop it in
Oh,
the notes later.
break the ice.
Break the ice. Oh, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
but it's a great interview. He's done a couple of interviews with Peter, hasn't he? He went to Peter's house and did one, and then and then this one today. That
yeah,
yeah, shocking. It really blew my mind.
literally. Like, what does everyone else think about it in chat? Because like at first, like I said, I was literally like, but why didn't he dive? Why didn't he go and get her? Why didn't why did he not release this information? And why was he saying to everyone, well, if she was in there, I would have found her, so she's not in there. But the interview explains it all. Um, with the police, we all have been brought up to trust the police. We've all been brought
Yeah,
up to believe what they say. And obviously Peter's working in a close relationship with them. So where he works closely with the police, if they say it's not, he's going to think, oh, okay. But yeah, after watching that, it kind of, I just blew my mind because I all, we've always said when we started this channel, it wasn't about the family, it wasn't about anyone else, it was all about how the police have treated this case. And
yeah, that's it. We want to just like get the facts on the table, don't we? That's what we've
yeah,
always aimed for.
yeah,
And we've done so much work in the background to get the facts on the table. We've literally one of our team went to the inquest. And we've been dissecting the notes from the inquest that she was took. And it's it's crazy, really, because but what Peter said was the inquest would be a completely different story had he been there, because he would have brought to the table, well, actually, I have this image, and the divers never.
yeah. Well, he actually sent the image to Dr. Adley and never
So
heard nothing
yeah, I
back.
don't. Yeah. Dr. Adley's the coroner for people that might not know. And
Yeah.
yeah, and he had no invitation to go, and he's search and recovery expert, I think is his title, isn't it?
Yeah. I just
And
hope
so he's an
that after all of this, you know, it's answered some parts of our questions, but in the other part, we're like, I have a load more questions now. So I hope in a way that, if Nikki's family would get hold in contact with Peter again, and as not horrible as it probably would be, they would have to see it for themselves to know that it's true what he's saying, and
yeah.
then after that they
I don't think
can.
the image needs to be released
No,
publicly,
no.
but out of respect for Nikki and that. But yeah, it definitely needs to go to some reliable people to see it and to report on it, and and let us know their opinion basically.
Yeah, or like just
And
them,
also the
for them to
photograph
go
of the
and
man
see
in
it.
black, the man
Sorry.
in black photo.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So we will. I don't know where to start because there's so much information to get
So
out
there's so
there. But
much.
should we start with the inquest first? Let's
Yeah,
try
I
and
think, yeah, if
dissect
we
some
go
of
through
that.
the inquest, yeah, that's a good idea.
So
Just want a big shout out to Funky. He's still in shock. And a lot to come out today. Yeah, that's exactly how we're feeling today. It's
yeah,
crazy. And big shout out to Essex Boys Outlaw.
yeah,
It's good to
and
see you on here. Who
Frankie,
else is it?
Frankie.
No, yeah,
So
Funky.
yeah, if you're here and you want us to, um, you know, answer any questions, we will try our best to, because it has taken us a while to try and process what happened at the inquest. So if you have got any questions, and come in and say hello and talk to us, because that's why we're here. Just try and dissect everything and get our heads around everything.
Yeah, I know a lot of people listen to our videos when we're not live as well. So big shout out to you guys as well. And if you have got any comments, pop them in the comment section. We do read them.
Yeah,
And it's so confusing because everything's changed. I'll be honest with you. I thought that Nikki might have been taken by a third party. And I heard Peter say at the time when he was searching that she definitely wasn't in the river. So I went with that theory that so if she wasn't in the river, she couldn't be found in the river. Then where was she? That was my chain of thought. Well, obviously
yeah,
now Peter said this, so she was in the river. He's seen her in the river. So but I'm still really suspicious because of the way the police have handled things.
yeah, and it's making it seem more, in my eyes, that they've covered up something. So, Essex Boys, I do not see what Peter Faulding has to prove. Why does Peter now think he found Nicola when at the time he didn't? He's saying he found a shadow on the sonar. It obviously represented a shadow of a body, and he literally straight away contacted the police, sent them the image of it. So this was at 10:38.
Yeah, it's
Sent it
within
all
six
to
minutes.
Yeah, literally sent it all to Lancashire Police, and they refused him to go in there. He was not allowed to dive. So later on that
I
afternoon,
think Funky saying why did Peter not go back the next day? Peter did go back the next
yeah,
day, but he wasn't allowed to dive, and he said that there was so many press around at that time as well. He didn't want to bring attention to the spot in case that the media started if the media saw them paying attention to a certain spot, it might make other people, members of the public, go there, and so he had this concern. So he just went off on his boat and let the police divers do their diving.
So, do you all kind of know where he found this shadow? It was 75 meters away. So, obviously,
So yeah,
picturing
75 meters away
So
from the bench.
picturing the bench and the river. Do you kind of, because I have got it here if you want to see it, not the image. I've got a picture of obviously when we went there. So I can literally put it up and I put a cross on there so you can all understand how close she got found. So put yes in the comments if you want to see it.
Put the picture up, that would be really helpful thing to sort of visualize how close it was and how she got missed. But the thing is, when the police had already been out searching, the police divers have been searching in the area before Peter arrived, and they've been out with their sonar. So what I don't understand is, why didn't they find her?
Yep. But even after, because obviously with all the media there, Peter said that because when he finds something that he needs to investigate a bit further, he normally puts like a buoy in the water.
Yeah, like a marker, isn't it?
So it marks the location, but he could not do none of that because obviously where the police hadn't shut that area down, it was full of media. So he didn't want to draw attention to that because you can imagine, what the frenzy would have been like. So he was just searching up and down the river so the police could go there and dive it when they got there. So this is the image. So on the right hand side, that's the bench, and literally she got found there on the 7th. Could you
so basically you've got like what they refer to it as the island. It's not really an island, it's just an area deposition when the river runs its natural course, and it was just by the riverbank, basically. He just found it, the shadow, and at the time it was blurry and he had to get it enhanced, and he did that in preparation for going to the coroner's inquest, because he assumed that he'd get called to the coroner's inquest, but he wasn't. And I think it's strange, why wasn't he invited to go to the coroner's inquest and display his expert opinion, having searched the area?
Exactly. So right, this is the image that we've got. So if you could see where I'm circling, can you see?
That was that one from when we went there.
Yeah. So this is where they reckon she fell in here. Okay, so the bench is up here. Peter found her body around here. So there's a little island sort of thing there. So it's only a little bit like trees sticking up. So Peter went there 10 days after Nikki fell in. So she fell in on the 27th. He arrived there, might have been a week, yeah. So literally, she's travelled 75 meters in that quick.
Peter went on to explain about the clothing that Nikki had on. Now, she went in, she had wellies on, like what cut down wellies, ankle wellies, and they would have filled up with water going in. And she had a long coat on it. The police said originally it was ankle length, but the CCTV showed it was up to her knees. But still, when those coats get submerged in water, they become really heavy, and that would have pulled her down. She, if she wasn't in shock and is thinking straight. She might have thought to take a coat off and try. That's what I was done. Remove the clothing, and try and swim away. But it's very, very difficult. Obviously, it's freezing water. Um, at the inquest, they spoke a lot about water shock.
Yeah, the cold
Um,
water shock. Yeah,
and
which
like going in, I believe it was the saying it was around about 4 degrees, which would give anyone a shock. But that's a big assumption, I believe,
yeah,
because
literally all the people.
I've witnessed two people falling into a canal which actually had ice on it, ice lay on it, and they fell in, and they both recovered from that, and that would have been a lot colder than 4 degrees.
Yeah,
um when we were on a canal boat at the time when it happens, and they both got them out and got them warm, and they were both okay.
yeah.
um
See, cold water shock. The accidents that I've heard of people falling into the river and having, or water, sorry, cold water and having cold water shock. All of them that I've heard of, they have suffered a cardiac arrest, because the cold water
yes,
shock, it is literally a shock, and it makes your heart go into cardiac arrest. So not only have they died of drowning, they've also died of cardiac arrest. So
and that was caused damage to the heart. Then there would
yeah,
be damage to ventricles, and
yeah.
um
So
you know
at the
the,
inquest, when the Home Office pathologist was literally reading out what she had found with Nikki, they went through all of it. Like, was there any underlying health issues, toxicology reports? They said obviously there was water in her lungs and water in her stomach, but her heart was fine. So if you've got cold water shock and you die in this 30 seconds that they reckon that she died in because of cold water shock, why is her heart fine?
that's what really, really confuses me, because also when they tested Nikki's blood, she was prescribed a beta blocker, basically, that would
Hi,
prevent
Martin.
it prevents heart attacks and things. People take it for I was prescribed it, and it's for migraines, but it also people take it for heart conditions as well, and that actually helps prevent your heart having a heart attack, basically.
Yeah, we
So
found
I
um, a document sort of thing on Google where they've actually tested this medication, propranolol, isn't it?
propranolol.
I can never say that one right. Where they've tested it, and they've actually found it's so it's a research, and they found out that if you're taking that drug, it is harder for you to suffer with cold water shock. We will find it and put the link on our Facebook group for you so you can have a look
Yeah.
yourself. So yeah, so can you understand, like, from the picture now, how close that they reckon Peter found, or Peter said he found the shadow and believed it was Nikki? It's just crazy how close it was. I'll zoom out again. I zoomed in so you can
Funky,
see.
yeah, it's good for panic attacks as well. I've had friends who've been prescribed it for that reason as well. It just slows your heart down, basically, and a side effect of it is you can get low blood pressure. They're always testing your blood pressure, um, because a lot of people do suffer from low blood pressure. I think mine went quite low, and they were considering taking me off. Um, so it's used for a variety of things, and I just, if she's taking a drug that would prevent a heart attack, then I don't know if it would have been cold water shock.
No,
Personally, just,
because if it was,
and
she would have
there's been
had.
research and there've been lots of experiments,
Yeah, if it was, she would have had problems with her heart.
and it would have shown up in the autopsy, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So, right, let's
So
get back to this inquest. I just wanted to go through that so you could, when we're talking about how close Nikki was found from where they believe she fell in, that
yeah,
you can picture it now. So,
I know. Can I, but I'll just talk about the video the policeman, I've forgotten his name now, but
PC
Thal-
Thackeray.
Thackeray, yeah. He he went there, didn't he? And
Yeah,
yeah, he was like floating around in a dry suit. And Peter criticized the video, but at the time I remember watching it myself and thinking, this is absolutely shocking. It was done about six months after Nikki had gone missing. It was different season. He's telling us that, the water was a lot deeper when we first went in, and he's telling us that he's getting dragged along at walking pace, and that it's very strong currents in that river. Now
he was
we've been
swimming.
there.
He was
We've
paddling.
been there. That water. I've been there a couple of times, and that water hasn't got a strong current. I'm sorry, definitely. It looked really calm, didn't it?
Yeah, and like I
By the
said,
bench.
that video that when we went there, April, and there was horrendous rain, like driving up there, and so the river was obviously had a lot of water in it. It was rising and it was faster flowing. But when we chucked that log in, it went to the left, not to the right towards the rear. So it just, I don't know, it just frustrates me. It really does. Like, if she was that close and Peter's found that shadow on his sonar, why have they not found her on day one? You know,
Exactly.
literally a week after she had got into the water, she had only travelled 75 metres. So when she fell in, she would have still literally been not even a metre away. So how on earth have they missed her? I've got so many questions. I really have. And this is what annoys me with the inquest, because they was literally pushing and pushing and pushing for it to be suicide.
That, yeah, I felt that, a lot of the comments were, the police released that very, very personal information, inferring that Nikki was an alcoholic. She wasn't. We understand now that it was just an occasional blip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Over the Christmas period and
yeah.
into the beginning of January.
And they were talking about being menopausal as well, and I know it's already been disputed and reviewed, and the police have admitted that that was unnecessary to disclose that, to the media. They shouldn't have done that, but I feel sorry for a family, basically, and because I think that they weren't like inferring that she might be suicidal. I think they were saying, like, that was the angle they were pushing it towards, that she'd go and take her own life. And Nikki's family spoke at the coroner's inquest, and they said, well, actually, she's very happy. She got a new job. She's doing really well in a new job. She's making plans for the future. Um, just very generally happy with
She was in
herself and
high
her life.
spirits. She literally was
Yeah,
in high spirits. But it annoys me because even today, all the stuff come out, they're still tarnishing her name with mental health. When in
yeah.
the inquest, there was no sign, no sign. Sorry, all the doctors, the mental health team that went out on the 10th, they all turned around and said she was a bit low. She had anxiety, but she wasn't mentally depressed with the thought of trying to harm herself. Even
She
the
was I think putting it in layman's terms, she was pissed and she wanted to go to bed,
yeah,
and they turned up,
come on,
and
like
the
who
dad.
here doesn't have a few drinks sometimes? And I'm not even, I don't drink, but sometimes even I can't be. I don't. I just want the kids to go to bed, and I don't want to be around them sometimes because they drive me mad.
I,
They're
I, I,
kids.
I generally don't drink. I love because of the medication that I take, but I'll go out now and again and have a few drinks with on Christmas and special occasions, and sometimes having a drink can make it a bit emotional.
Yep.
You know, I've I know I've cried. My friends have cried when we've had a drink. They say gin. They call it mother's ruin, don't they? Because
Mm.
it makes people cry.
But
Um,
we all go through that stage where you've had too much. You go through the really happy stage. It's like a mountain, isn't it? You go up and you're all happy, 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 and then you're having the come down of the alcohol where you get crying, you're depressed, and then you get angry, and then we've all been
yeah,
there.
that's like you lose your inhibitions when you've had a drink sometimes, and certainly not so much now, but when I was younger, Jesus, some of the stuff that's happened when I was younger, I'm just glad they didn't have phones or cameras then in them days.
Yeah. So
'Cause,
anyway, let's get back to the inquest.
yeah, but
We keep going off
frankly,
track.
it's victim blaming,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep. Definitely.
Um, and yeah, but very shallow water where Peter said. And they said some currents are undercurrents. When we were there, the water by the bench it looked black. Near to the edge, you could see there was like some rocks, which would have made it shallow if you stepped down. It wouldn't have been like a big drop. But then after, if you continue to go out into the river, there was a severe drop down after that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
You could see that when you were there. There probably is an undercurrent, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's a huge one, because
It's
it
not deep
looks
enough.
like
It's not deep
flats.
enough to
Very
be like,
calm.
yeah, there's deep parts there, but it's not deep enough to have a raging undercurrent.
Mm,
It's
that's the thing.
not like the River Ribble where it's so wide. It's more of a
Oh,
I the River
oh,
Wire to me.
play that video I sent you of our river Wales the other day.
Oh yeah, see, we
No,
took
that's
video
not the
as
current.
well. Yeah.
Jeez,
So to
that
me, with the rivers that we have around here, and you've got the River Thames and that in London. To me, the
yeah,
River Wire is like a stream. I
yeah,
don't mean that disrespectfully or anything like that, because it's it's narrower, and there is some really shallow parts in there. We've all seen
yeah.
it.
People go there. When they go wild swimming,
Mm,
there's groups that go. I've seen videos of it, and apparently, that river is a beginner's river for doing freshwater swimming, because it's considered quite safe and shallow, and there's a couple of areas where that they can get a swim, and then sometimes the wade just wading through the water.
Yeah, and
It's a bit
I've
like
made it.
gorge
I've made it
walking.
clear to everyone. I am petrified of rivers. For me to get down and take photos, it says a lot for me.
Yeah. Oh,
I've literally. I had to get
I
pushed
grew up
onto the London
around.
Eye once because I saw the gap and saw the River Thames underneath me, and I just froze. So I had to get pushed on.
Oh,
You know,
is
so
it?
yeah,
I'm the opposite, you see, because I used to go gorge walking. That's walking. You basically like freshwater swimming, just walking along the river beds. In a pair of hiking boots, and then we would go to an area that there was a bridge, and it was a bit deeper, and we had supervisors with us as well, and it was deep, and you could just basically jump in. If you took all your shoes and coats off, and you just jump in and have a swim in there, and that's what I grew up with, and to my mind, that's the type of river that I would go gorge walking in,
nah, that
because it's
she
just
freaks me out.
because after the weir, there was you could see the top of the weir. It looked like literally about sort of 6 centimeters depth of water crossing the weir when we were there.
Yeah, yeah, but bearing in mind that was June, July. It was the inquest time, so
Yeah, it was
it
a
was
different time of
summer.
year,
But
but
even when we
it
went
was
there in April, you can still see the rocks and that,
it was
even after all the heavy
it's
rain.
just yeah. Obviously rivers are heavily affected by rain, aren't they? And they can change suddenly. I've seen pictures of St. Michael's when that river. It's the river's flooded, and it's the height's actually gone up to the height of the bridges, and you can touch the water when you're
Yeah,
on the
they've had that
footbridges.
recently as well, haven't they? With all the rain that they've had up north.
I think yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we've had it has it bad, and we're quite local, so because I sent you a picture of our river.
Yeah,
It's oh my gosh, that was a weir, and it was basically bulging. It was we were concerned it was going to burst its banks. I
yeah,
managed to get some film footage of it. Um, but yeah, the police were in the process of closing down some bridges and stuff. It was pretty bad. Um, but so no, and I've seen pictures of St. Michael's. That it does, but it does flood. But on
oh
the
yeah,
date that Nikki went missing, it wasn't flooded.
no.
It's average for that time of year,
You know what?
and local people.
I was
Because I tell you
watching.
who I was watching was Curtis Media. Got a lot of footage of the area. I know he's a little bit some people like him, some people don't. I respect him for going and getting his boots on the ground, and
He gave us a lot of coverage of the area, so we knew like with
yeah,
the
we got
coverage.
an insight into
I
and
just
feel
don't
of what
agree
was
with
going
how
on.
he done it in the end.
Yeah, it was ethics come into question a little bit, don't they? But
Yeah.
generally, he got some really good information as well. Like, he spoke to locals who confirmed that the river wasn't particularly high.
Yeah.
It hadn't flooded when Nikki went missing, and he got a few opinions from people as well.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
It
But
very.
what I noticed though is when he was filming, there wasn't a lot of people searching it, because that was a period of time where she was still missing. Yet when he was walking up and down the river, I didn't see anyone, sort of any diving crews or.
No.
Yeah, I think a couple of times he passed police officers just on foot walking along the riverside.
Walking and talking, not even looking. That's what
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I noticed, that they was walking
Yeah.
along and they was talking and looking like where they was, but they wasn't looking down where all the reeds are and on the side
No,
of the edge of the river.
that's it. It was there weren't any active teams, like, like divers, because you think periodically throughout, if a person's missing, that they would carry on checking the area. And it was reported that on the news at that time, the police were focusing their efforts on going around the estuary. I noticed them on speedboats with the coast guard. That was publicized a lot, but she hadn't got that far. She was down, you know she was found in the vicinity of St. Michael. She hadn't gone that far.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just having a coughing fit. So
Oh, you okay?
yeah, I'm fine. So back to
Yeah,
the inquest before I
yeah,
forget, because I keep going off
yeah.
track.
Let's go to the inquest. Oh gosh, the inquest.
Yeah. So obviously at the beginning of the inquest, we had the Home Office pathologist giving her evidence. She done the post-mortem on Nikki and stuff like that. There was one thing I did want to correct, because I remember when someone was covering it on YouTube, they said that she had a blood-stained chin. I don't know if everyone remembers that. It wasn't actually
Oh.
blood-stained chin; it was mud-stained chin. So there wasn't no
It's
blood
the
on the chin.
northern accent, isn't it?
Yeah,
Blood, mud. It sounds so similar when it says with the northern accent. So I think that just got lost in translation a bit
yeah,
with the accent. But yeah, it was mud.
yeah, mud, not blood.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put that out there, because there wasn't no blood on her chin. Because
Hey,
that's
up
what
all
I
the
could work out. How
northerners.
could there be blood-stained chin when she was in the water? But no, it turns out it was mud.
That,
So
yeah. I
they,
don't, but even if she's in the water, I don't even know why. How could she have dried blood on her chin? I don't know. Oh,
yeah, I know, that's what I couldn't work out.
it's a bit odd because if you're submerged, nothing's going to dry, is it?
No. So they found fragments of dirt and mud in the back of her throat, but the throat was intact and no sign of injury. Um, they found flecks of dirt below the vocal cords, and the lungs were a normal weight. I'm just trying to write
But
down. Just trying to
they had
read everything
fluids
that
in
I've written
the
down.
lungs had fluids in, didn't they? They had
Yeah,
a milky fluid inside, but they were the normal weight.
yeah, there was normal weight,
But
but yeah. So the stomach contained 100 milliliters of watery fluid. Again, one of the questions that I have here was, why was that water not tested?
Yeah, forensically, I assumed that when they got her in, they would forensically test, fluids from her lungs and fluid from her um abdomen, and compare it to the river and things like that, but they didn't do that. So
No. They found 150 milliliters on the right side of the lung and 50 milliliters on the left side of the lung.
yeah,
Histology of organs, so heart, liver, kidneys, and brain, they was all normal. So there was no damage to the heart at all.
so she didn't have a heart attack.
No, no. And that's the
It,
one thing I really, really, really cannot understand, how they can say that she died from cold water shock when her heart was intact. There was nothing wrong with it.
yeah, that I find that really confusing as well, and also the fact that she's taking propranolol, which is a beta blocker, and that would prevent her from having a heart attack. It's definitely going to work against her having a heart attack.
Yeah, so alcohol in her body was 19 milligrams per 100 milliliters. So that is minute, bearing in mind that the drink drive limit here is 80 milliliters per 100 milliliters of blood.
And they also said that a short intake of alcohol would have been 0. The reason that the alcohol was detected was due to the fermentation process, basically.
Yeah.
With your stomach acids.
It was just like you say, due to the bacteria in our body.
Yeah.
It's not alcohol, as in drink.
She hadn't consumed any alcohol.
No. She had 10.2 milligrams of paracetamol in her body and 0.2 milligrams of propranolol.
Propranolol, yeah, that's a prescribed dose, isn't it, that she was given? Yeah, they also spoke about they were using the data from her Fitbit watch as well.
I still want someone to do that test on that watch. Still trying to find someone to do that test.
Well, because they did they got a similar, the same make and model of watch, and one of the police officers did a few tests with it, but I think they approached Fitbit for some information and they didn't get a response, so the police ended up doing some experiments. But I think it'd be better if somebody who was maybe a technical expert did those experiments rather than a police officer.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Frankie, they didn't test the water. They just said watery fluids in the lungs and stomach. So
we don't know what was in there.
We don't know what type of water it was. They, I thought for a drowning victim, they would test the water, just to make sure that
under the circumstances
the area
as well, especially.
Yeah, there was no natural diseases that she had that contributed to her death. Oh, the bruising. I can't get my head around the bruising, because everything that I've tried to research on the bruising, it comes back that you don't bruise after you die.
Yeah, so any bruising that she had would have been before she passed.
So she had
bruising to her arm, didn't she?
Yeah, so left leg, she had a purple L-shaped bruise on the back of the thigh, measuring 16 by 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
A faint red bruise on the shin. This is still the left leg, 3 by 1 centimeter. The right leg, a purple bruise to the front of the knee, 4 by 3 centimeters. And a faint bruise to the shin, 2 by 1 centimeters. And then the right arm, she had purple bruise front and back of the upper arm, 14 by 14 centimeters. That's quite big.
And that's a big bruise. That's where it was kind of like around her arm as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just front and back. So
yeah,
that is a big bruise for someone of her size.
And that would have happened. That would have had to have happened while she was still alive.
Yeah.
Because you don't bruise because you've got no circulation when you pass away. So you don't bruise.
Yeah. And then where have I got it written? Dr. Adley asked the Home Office pathologist if there was any indication that Nikki was assaulted or harmed on the 27th of January. And she put, no, there was not. There was no evidence of third party involvement.
One of the witnesses who spoke, who saw Nikki in the field, he mentioned the man in black, didn't he? I think we'll go on to the man in black later on. But he's an unknown person. You know, the police to this day have not investigated this person and got an identity for him, and I find that really worrying.
Yeah, and
Personally,
that actually did get brought up in the inquest.
that was discussed in the inquest
Yeah,
and then dismissed in the inquest.
yep.
The
So
police requested that
I
that
think it was,
man in black comment was dismissed.
yeah, because Richard Fife was the one that brought it up, and then I think it was Becky Smith, if I can remember correctly, said that they had investigated it, looked at all CCTV, and there was no sign of a man in black. And then today it's come out that Peter Faulding had seen this guy and asked one of the reporters to take a picture. So,
Yeah,
you know, that's two people now. I've mentioned the man in black, and then one officer that's not saying that there was no one there. So that was asked to be dismissed. This is what frustrates me about the inquest as well. So, with all the people that they called, obviously they called Claire Chesham, they called Richard Fife, obviously Penny, and then they had the rest of it was really the to do within, you know, home.
well, they had experts on cold water shock
yeah,
talking, didn't they?
yeah,
but this is where it was kind of like leading the inquiry down
yeah,
that lane, because they actually got experts in to explain cold water shock, but that is still an assumption because it's not been proven. And it's, you know, to my mind, if her heart is healthy, she didn't have a heart attack, then it can't be cold water shock.
no. And then you got PC Thackeray, the one that made that famous video where he was being literally pushed down the river. So, but there's three people that really I feel should have been there. So there was Peter Faulding for one, and he actually said on that interview that he sent the evidence of this clear image that he's had enhanced of his findings on the 7th of February. And he never got a reply or heard anything back.
Yeah.
So why was that ignored? You know, surely you would want that out there. You would want.
Well, Peter's got a lot of expert evidence because he went out and he scanned that river with his expert equipment, and he was expecting to be called. He usually is called. He works with many other police forces, and you know, for Peter Faulding, you know, going to a coroner's inquest is pretty much standard, isn't it? So he said he was very surprised and angry that he didn't get called. But going back to the inquest, though, the other people that didn't get called, which I was really surprised about, was Jason Rothwell, who was him and a friend found Nikki. They weren't called to describe how they found her, which I think if I was a coroner, I'd want to hear that what happened.
You would want to know which way where she was coming from, and that didn't even get mentioned in the inquest. It didn't even get asked.
Because I've heard you know, there's been Jason's made a couple of comments and you know, in terms of movements, you know, where she was, you know, she in the time it took for the police to respond to his call, she was floating a little bit in the river, because she was in the tidal area, wasn't she?
Yeah, because that was the first high tide since she had gone missing. That was the first high tide.
And the other person I'm surprised he didn't call is Anne-Marie Fletcher, because apparently Anne-Marie Fletcher got Penny called her and said that she'd found Willow, who's Nikki's dog, um, and then she came along and then she found the phone and then it looked at the phone and recognized it was Nikki's phone and Nikki's dog, and then she spoke to Paul on the phone.
Hmm.
So to my mind, that's quite a key witness. Why wasn't she called?
Yeah, because he was the one that mentioned to her that Nikki had been struggling. So you would have thought
I
that
think
she should have been there to say, yeah, this is what he said, not have um someone else. I think it was Ron's wife
that's
say,
right. Yeah, it was Ron's
yeah,
wife that said
that
that.
that's what Anne Marie had said to her that Paul had said. So you're
Because
hearing it from
in a
a
court
third
case, they couldn't
party.
accept it.
Mm,
If that was in court, that would be considered hearsay, because
yeah,
it's I've heard from a third party type of thing, and so to yeah, if she'd come and just explained, she recognized a picture of Nikki, so she's basically the one that identified that it was Nikki's phone, Nikki's dog. I think she helped deal with Willow as well. And then I think Penny went to an appointment and then returns, didn't she?
yeah. Um, Zara just put that Jason Rothwell turned her with a stick. Exactly. You know, they would need to know whereabouts he um, used the stick, because that could have caused injuries, especially if she had been in the water that
Yeah,
long. So, you know, it's like it's more like they've ran this inquest to their advantage. You know, they've called who they want in. They've called um everyone that's going to side with their stories. You know,
yeah.
that's why they didn't want Peter Faulding there. That's why they didn't want Jason Rothwell there. That's why they didn't want Anne Marie there, because it would have gone against their hypothesis.
We were researching earlier on as well, and in it was it Pip 04 or something, Pip
Yeah,
4, and it was
it's a
basically,
statistic advisor.
yeah. So the family liaison officer who was dealing with the family was also tactically deciding what information was being put out to the public, in order to protect the police's reputation and the family's welfare, um, and basically doctoring what was said. So I
It
can
was the
imagine they
wording, wasn't
probably,
it?
yeah. Well, when the family got interviewed by the media, I thought, in my opinion, they've been coached and told you can say this, but don't say this, because it seemed very, very structured and coached.
Yeah, I
I don't
just
know if anyone else
find
felt like that
surprised.
as well, but um, this is early days. I am absolutely gutted for the family, the way they've been treated. If anyone knows the family, I just pass on my love, because they've been through not just the bereavement side of things, it's the
The
whole
media.
media.
Yeah, they literally left them to deal with the media. There wasn't no support in that. They didn't tell them what to do. So they wanted to. This is what they said. They used the word menopause because they didn't want to use the term medical issues, because they was worried that um, there would have been a risk to the family if they used the word medical. because of what
So
happened on the 10th.
this was in
Yeah,
the
because of what happened on the 10th of
in
January.
still a police report that's just come out, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but again, why was it not let out there on day one? Anyone that's gone missing, it takes 24 hours. You have to be missing for 24 hours to get any help. The fact that they was out there straight away, it literally does scream like vulnerabilities. But then at the inquest, they are saying, so the mental health officer that went out on the 10th that evening said that she didn't understand why she got called out, because Nikki wasn't deemed as high risk. She didn't have mental health, she just wanted to go to bed. Even her doctor said there was no mental health issues. Yes, she had anxieties, and that's what the can't say it now. Propranolol was described for.
Yeah,
to help with
that
her
and a headache, wasn't it?
anxieties. But again, she wasn't on any antidepressants, and that's what winds me up with this stigma of the menopause.
She'd been having issues. She started taking HRT, and the doctor, a GP, had to juggle the it's basically hormones, isn't it? It's estrogen and progesterone, and they have to get the right balance. And at first they didn't have it right, and Nikki was suffering side effects of like a headache and feeling lethargic all the time. So I think she stopped taking it. Then she went to a GP, and a GP did a bit of jiggery-pokery with the levels, which is normal, and changed the prescription. And then Nikki tried the new prescription, and that seemed to work better for her. Well, that's what a GP said.
Yeah. So we've also read I haven't read all of this report yet. I've just kind of skimmed over it. So in the report, it also said that Emma White basically had to sort of blackmail, threaten the police with bad media coverage if they didn't let Peter Faulding come and search for Nikki, because they didn't want him there. Which, why would you not want anyone there? Someone that's expertise in searching for someone, and
Peter felt snubbed by the police. They didn't even tell him about the concerns that they raised publicly about Nikki's alcohol and menopause. They didn't tell Peter when he was there. So the first he heard of this was when it went public and it was announced to the world, literally the world, wasn't it?
Yep. So
it was, they were wrong about it.
Yeah, and then it makes you wonder even more, like with what's come out today, what he found on the 7th. They wouldn't let him dive down. Again, why would you not? The main focus here was to find someone that was missing, a mother of two, a daughter, a sister, a partner. That's the main priority. Not, oh no, we've got to find her, not you.
My heart goes out to each and every one of them, and also Nikki's friends who have been absolutely assassinated by the media and social media as well. They are just friends who were concerned about their friend who's gone missing, and they've spoke publicly and just been absolutely broke down.
Yeah, look what they've been put through, all because of how
people have been delving into like their employment records and into companies' house, about companies that they run, that they've been talking about their private life with partners, inferring there's affairs going on and stuff like that. It's like a
It's
soap opera, but
yeah,
it's not a soap opera because these are real people with real feelings and real emotions and real lives, and the effect on them, I just can't imagine.
no. Not only
It's
have they had to
awful.
deal with losing someone in such a horrific way, they've had to deal
Yeah.
with all of this, the hate of everyone as well. So,
Some
and then
people, I've seen some shocking comments made about the family, and it makes me sick to the stomach. Honestly, it's you know, they are going through hell. I lost my partner, and I can talk about it now. I've had counselling, um, but I was really lucky. My GP was a shrink before he became a GP, and he taught me about self hypnosis. And I've had to go through a lot, and I hope Nikki's family are getting the support and counselling. And my children had counselling. They lost their dad, and it's awful. And just for the family going through that, and then having all this hate from people that don't even know them.
hates,
It,
lies, you know,
People are making up
rumors.
stories about them and stuff. And I just, okay, and then other people are jumping on these stories and sharing it all around, and it's all just people. I don't know why they do it. I don't know understand that mentality, to be honest.
No, I don't.
I'm just
Um,
reading the comments here. Sarah Ruth Thomas Norman. Yeah, you bang on. I agree. No emotion except when I only broke down for a split second. That broke my heart seeing that. And then Louise held his hand, didn't she? And she started talking. But I do feel that they had been coached. They were told what to say, what not to say. And then we know from the report that was released today that there was what is it PIP4?
yeah, yeah.
um
But what date was
that's
that
our code
interview?
name for it.
Because they didn't get a family liaison officer assigned to them till the 3rd of February.
Yeah, that's a long time, really. And at that stage as well, there was the infamous TikTokers, because they got a lot of media coverage, didn't they? Because they were going like searching for Nikki, and going into people's gardens and sheds and all sorts of things, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look at what date that interview was. 18th. Was it the 18th? No, that was 18th of February. She got the found the day after. 2nd of
But
February.
you looking for the one with the family when they had the
Yeah,
interview?
second,
Yeah,
3rd of February. So they
because
hadn't
they
even
made
had
an
a
appeal.
liaison officer then. And then
Yeah,
was it Paul's before that?
yeah. The full report was 143 pages, and there was a summary
Oh, of course,
given by the police. That we had Snowden talking about it, and um a representative, I didn't catch his name. He was from the School of Policing, and he sort of discussed a summary of the findings. I think it was the action points. Um, I think I've got them here actually. Just bear with me one moment. The College of Police Review. So the key findings were there were unprecedented levels of mainstream media and social media interest in the case. The police investigation and search was very well conducted by Lancashire Constabulary. No comment. Um, the decision not to call the investigation a critical incident, despite it um, it meeting the national definition, set the tone within the constabulary and led to several challenges. Um, Media handling and communication of information to the public and management of the leadership team led to a breakdown of public confidence. Despite being lawful, the release of personal details for Nicola was avoidable and unnecessary, and the relationship between police and the mainstream media needs to be rebuilt. And that's just the key findings. I'm not going to go into the 143 pages.
Yeah.
I'm too
I
tired.
haven't even had time to read it all yet, so
Yeah,
I'm just
I just
literally
that
doing
was
bit
it.
by bit.
So if you go through it bit by bit, it's the police are marking their own homework basically. It's the College of Police who are reviewing their colleagues' work, and are they impartial? I wouldn't say so, in my opinion.
No, there was
That's my
a
opinion.
video I saw from one of the um, deputy senior officers at Lancashire Police, and they're still saying that they've done a brilliant job. Um, you know, they're just basically, I'm trying to put it in a nice way, but blowing smoke up their own backside, saying that they've done a fantastic job and they've done nothing wrong. So, well, you did. You know, why was she not found on the first day? Why did it take till the 3rd of February to get their first family liaison officer? And then on the 10th of February, they was allowed 4 more. Why was the media engagement, head of media and engagement people not there to support the family at the
Yeah,
beginning? And why was it down to Emma to get all of this coverage of their friend and the media weren't telling them what to do? And the same with Peter. Peter didn't get told. He had no. He literally was like, "No, you're not searching there. You're searching there."
yeah. That he found when he arrived on the scene. Obviously, he's worked with many other police forces, but they were unfriendly. In terms, they weren't including him in the investigation and the planning for the search. They were just treating him a little bit offhand, and he was there for 2 days, I believe, from what he said.
Yeah,
And all he was allowed to do was drive up and down with his sonar on his dinghy, and then he pointed out some point areas of interest, and the police divers told him that they'd found them, and it was or they checked them, and it was negative quotes. That's what he said, and he trusts the police to have searched those areas, so he took their word that there was nothing there, but there was.
mm,
When he
yeah,
went and had the sonar images enhanced and discovered that, that in clarity that there was a lot more to it. And
yeah.
he could see Nikki.
So I don't know if everyone knows this yet. I found out 2 days ago, which I was quite shocked about, that Rebecca Smith has retired,
Oh yeah,
which is um,
interesting.
very interesting and a bit of a coincidence that she retires just before this report comes out.
Yeah, I was shocked when I found that out. Because she's not exactly old. The usual. I'm guessing she's probably in her 40s.
Yeah, I know they do
Um,
tend to step down into smaller roles when they're because it is a stressful job if you're doing it correctly. It is a stressful job, but I couldn't even imagine some of the stress that the police officers do have to go through, especially
Oh
someone.
yeah, like all the car crashes and things that happen, and the police have to deal with that. I've got a friend, and she works as a road traffic officer, and all she did basically all day was attend car crashes, and she's seen some horrific sights.
Yeah.
She lives on the street. She's always saying something like, "Make sure your kids' seatbelts are all properly done up." She was paranoid.
Yeah.
Make sure the car seats are strapped in properly, because I've seen, just been to an accident where they weren't and the kids got hurt. So yeah, it was, it's very stressful. They come home and they have to deal with it and download a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if everyone's seen the link for the College of Policing report. If not, we can put it in the chat. So if you haven't seen it, we'll put the link in the chat so you can have a read of it yourself.
I'm just laughing at Sarah. Things of the witch has gone. Oh gosh.
Right. That was yeah, that was just a bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, well, I found it really inappropriate. She was a person that disclosed Nikki's medical details publicly. What she was wearing at that press conference, that black dress, she looked like she was going off clubbing after. It just. I was like, I know they get, they wear, their own clothes, but she had that off the shoulder dress, didn't she? Diagonally, it looked like she was just gonna nip off to a wine bar afterwards.
You know who else wasn't at the inquest that should have been at the inquest because she was involved since day one? Was what was the name? The first officer that was doing all the press conferences.
Oh gosh, I thought. Can anyone remember the name in chat? The first one,
Sally Riley.
Yeah. Oh, but she looks so stressed when she did 2 press releases. She did one on the first day, outside, and then she did one in the office. But she looked exhausted. When she was talking, she looked like she'd just been thrown completely out of her depth dealing with Nikki's case.
But she was the first one that was out there searching with all of her team. She was the one that was doing the press conferences. Why was she not at the inquest?
Yeah, because she would be. She was there at the key stage, wasn't she? She was managing that case at the time. And it would have been up to her to make decisions, like to seal off certain areas, because as Peter explained, the press were everywhere, and I've heard other officers from other police forces saying that they would have sealed off the area around the bench. She would, basically closed off the whole fields from the public and the press while he did that initial search. But they didn't do that.
But she was the one that took the first reports from everyone. She would have took the statement from Penny and Ron and all of that saw the phone. So
Funky saying she'd probably been doing long shifts. She looked like she'd been doing long shifts. Bless her. I don't think that woman got.
She did look out of her depth and everything, but to turn around and be the face of this missing person case and doing everything that she was doing, to completely disappearing, and then not even get invited to the inquest. Why? She was one of the very first people on the or her guys and her was the very first people out there on the scene. They know what they was doing on those days, because Becky didn't actually get appointed until the Monday, so that's 3 days. Does she know what was happening on those 3 days?
And they always say in a missing persons case that the key time is the first 24 hours, isn't it? And 48 hours, 24 hours critical, and then 48 hours, is usually like major alarm bells.
Yeah.
But they still have hope at that stage to try and retrieve that person and get them home again, because the search for Nikki started within hours. It wasn't,
Apparently so, yeah.
as
That's
with
questionable now, because apparently they was in the river from 2:30 that afternoon. They were searching the river. If they were searching
yeah,
the river at 2:30, she would have been found, because she wouldn't have moved.
exactly. That she would have been like looking down into that river. She would have been in that area. And I believe that the fire brigade were first on the scene,
Yeah, mountain rescue as well.
mountain rescue, and they had the helicopter up.
Yeah,
I don't, is a helicopter got a camera? Did they
yeah,
pan
yeah.
down?
They have cameras. They have like heat vision cameras and stuff like that as well.
So at that stage, they were up at early days,
Hmm.
within hours. That they must have seen something, because they're from above and they're flying around, and they could have seen in the water, a shadow or
Yeah,
something. If the
exactly.
cameras were,
Frankie. He found her in 6 minutes, and it took
yeah.
the police those first week, and they couldn't find her, and she was only 75 meters away. And that's what I don't understand. I just can't understand. If they're covering something up, how dare they not go and retrieve her from the river, or let Peter go down to double check? Because in my eyes, if a second set of eyes is always better. You might have missed something. You might have been, because you can't see under the water. Visibility under the in river water is next to nothing. So they might have just been
Didn't
2 centimeters
PC
away
Zachary
from
say
her.
PC Zachary said the visibility? Did he say it was like 2 meters when he? I'm sure it was. I
I
remember
need to
being
watch that.
really
Yeah,
surprised when he said what the visibility was in that river. As in how good it was. It was a good over an arm
yeah,
length of visibility.
yeah. You go further down. I put my camera in the water, and I couldn't even see like 10 centimeters in front of me on the camera. So 2 meters, that would be like water in the Maldives.
Yeah, I think it depends with river water. If there's been a lot of flooding, and it
Yeah.
brings down a lot of mud, it can be murky, and then sometimes it's just rainwater and it can be run quite fresh.
So then he's
You used
contradicting
to go,
himself there, then, isn't he? Because he's saying there was 2 meters visibility, but it's running really fast.
yeah.
You know,
It's a bit yeah, I just take his account with a pinch of salt. But, I don't. I watched his video that he made, and I don't understand why he didn't go to the effort of just mounting a camera on the side of the river so that we could see him.
well, someone could have
Have
even
that
walked along
shot
with
of
him.
him actually in the river and where he was and what he looked like.
Yeah. And then he said he just floated easily over the weir. You see him lift his legs up to get over it. And you hear that, as he's like kind of lifting his legs up off the water.
Yeah, he was like dragging himself across there. So it was. I'm just surprised that nobody like saw her. When she eventually moved from where Peter saw her on sonar, getting to where she was found.
Because it was getting to that point. Obviously, Pete had gone then. And
Yeah,
it was getting to the point where the police weren't doing that. Not that I think that they was really doing much at the beginning, but at that stage it was like kind of they knew when she was going to float up, so they was just waiting for that day.
I don't know why these don't put like cameras, like deer camera you know, on site when there's a missing person in the area, you know, just to observe the water because
1 meter per second, Funky. Yeah, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But this is what, you know, if I was Nikki's family or friends, you know, I don't even know her, but me personally, I hope that they have seen all of this and it's made, you know, now they're kind of out of the way of the Lancashire Police clause and stuff like that. I'm hoping that they're sitting back reflecting on all of this and thinking, you know, yeah, this doesn't seem right what they've done. And contact Peter as horror as it's going to be, but speak if you don't want to see it, speak to him, and find out in your eyes if it's, you know, if it was her, if it was a shadow of a body, which, you know, I trust Peter 100%. So if he says that it was her in my eyes. And if it,
I just want to
turns
say
out,
Peter's had loads of stick, hasn't he?
yeah, yeah,
He and I, in my opinion, having read his book, he's a very professional person, and he was asked on 5 occasions, by Lancashire Police to sign a non-disclosure agreement with them, so he couldn't talk about his data.
yeah. You know why?
Uh,
Because the thing is, like, Peter wouldn't put something like out like that if he didn't have evidence. He's got the
Yeah,
evidence. He's had this image re-enhanced, and you can see it really clearly now. So if Nikki's family, you know, want to see this image, it's there for them to see. So,
yeah,
and if they do go and see it, and they realise that, hold on, Peter was right here. Why wasn't she? Why have the police left her in that water for an extra 12 days for her to float up? Why have they not retrieved her? And it needs to be investigated more, because the pain that
yeah.
they have put that family through, you know, and it makes me question, why didn't they want her found so quickly?
I always put myself in the position of them, and you know, they had to wait all that extra time, waiting for their daughter, partner, mum, you know, to come and be found, you know. But I think by the stage she was found, we all kind of knew that it wasn't going to be good news, but they wanted to know what happened either way, and they've had to wait, you know, a significant amount of time. And if it were me, I'd be really angry about being put through that when it's
Yeah.
preventable.
And if it, you know, I believe this 100%, but I can't turn around and say, you know, it's not down to me. But if they find out by talking to Peter and seeing this image, and it is 100% true, they have some serious questions to ask. Why are they? What are they covering up? Why did they want her to not come up for another 12 days? Are they? Do they know something that we don't? Because obviously there's been a lot of other stuff that's come out. There was a police officer that was involved. It was his CCTV, no, his dash cam camera
Dash
that
cam, yeah, at school,
caught
wasn't it?
Nikki. Yeah, Nikki's car at the school, and now he's nowhere to be seen on the police database.
So he's vanished. But he was there in the tennis place when the scream was heard by one of the witnesses.
Exactly, Martin. That's what I want to know. What, because they know that in the 3 weeks that, you know, let's say that she did fall into the river. You know, I don't dispute that she drowned or anything like that. I do 100% believe that she drowned. How she ended up in that water is the massive question. And,
Yeah,
you know, 3 weeks of being in the water, You're not going to get the evidence that you would get, say, on day 1 and day 7. They can't. They cannot literally do the because each day that goes past, the evidence goes further and further away.
I don't believe she just like fell in the water. Nikki went like clockwork and walked that route. She knew that area like the back of her hand, and she would have seen it flood. She would have know not all the areas where it might get a bit boggy after heavy rain. That was her place. That's where she went. I've got a similar place. I know where every rock in the river is, and you sometimes in the summer it'd be a low water level and you'd see the rock, and then other times you'd look and after heavy rain and go, oh my gosh, look how high the river's gone and stuff. And that was Nikki's place. She'd lived there for around about 12 years, and that was her place that she used to take her dog for a walk on a daily basis, and she would have known the risk of that area, by the bench, and
Mm-hmm.
known to, stay clear of it. Basically, I don't believe she would have fell in. Just like, oh, I don't believe that. If she was a person, if it was like an unfamiliar territory, perhaps, but not somebody that goes there all the time.
No,
Do you
no.
know what I
But
mean?
I honestly
Really.
just hope and pray that now they're out of the clutches of the police, that now they can start seeing things a lot more clearly. Because again, it's that classic thing. You trust what the police are telling you, and at that stage, they was probably making out to them that they're doing all of this to find her, they're doing all that to find her, and after what's come out today, I hope that they've got some serious questions.
I'm not anti-police. I think there's
No,
some amazing police officers, but I think in this case, um, it's been manipulated. Information's been withheld. Um, I just find it all really concerning
very, very concerning.
because I think from day dot and hearing, I saw it was on Good Morning Tally type thing. There was some other police officers, senior police officers, from other police forces talking about Nikki's case and about the way it got handled, and that they've expressed that concerns about the way it got handled, that and the fact that the area wasn't sealed off, forensically at the beginning, and people were just wandering around and sitting on the bench, and it was just too open to the public and too open, to be really searching. And Peter said that he was basically they were getting distracted because the media were there with the cameras right, on the side of the river, and they're in their boats and they're having their photographs taken on the boats all the time and being
Yeah,
filmed, and that was distracting the search.
yeah, of course it was. Judy's just put that Peter Faulding, he has everything recorded, but it will not be made public, and it shouldn't be made public. The only people that he needs to show that to, if they want to, is the family. No one
Yeah,
else has the right to see that image. You know,
absolutely agree there. Just for the dignity of the family and for Nikki, bless her soul. Yeah, but that can't go public.
no,
But I think it needs to be reviewed by some impartial people who are not Lancashire Police. Um, if I were Peter Faulding, I'd send that picture to other police forces and get their opinion on it. That's
yeah,
what
but I
I'd
don't
do.
think he will unless the family request it to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Funky said,
If I were him, I'd definitely get a second opinion. You know what, from colleagues in different police forces, you know, and get them to talk about it as well, ideally as well, you know, publicly if they're
yeah,
prepared to do that, to say they agree or disagree or whatever. You know that, but you know that'll help Peter reinforce what he's saying about finding the body. Um, it, I'm just really shocked by what's been come out today.
yeah,
I feel like the rabbit in the headlights today.
yeah. Funky's put people are questioning why he waited until today. The thing with Peter, he's very, very professional. You've got to remember that he works alongside police forces across the country. So even
Yeah,
though he was out there speaking to the media, and things like that, he will not release any information unless it's 100%. So the police have said that they searched there.
and he
They said,
trusted him.
yep, said there was nothing there. And you can watch the interview with him. We'll put that in link up as well. Um,
Yeah,
so they've said it's not there. So
fair
he's
play to
gone,
Luke.
okay. But then he's like, are you sure? You know, so he was a bit shocked by it because Peter, he's normally spot on with everything. You just have to read his book to know that. And then just before the inquest was coming up, he decided to enhance these images because, you know, even though they've said that they can't, they didn't find anything down there. They didn't find Nikki down there and stuff like that. It's always in the back of your head. You know, when you've got that feeling in the pit of your stomach, and you question it. So that's
Yeah,
always playing in the back of his mind. But I swear that is something. So he's enhanced the images and it's made it even more clear. To the clearer to the point that he can tell you what side of her body she was laying on.
yeah. And it
So
was she was like she was lying in the fetal position. That's what he told us in the interview, that she was lying on. I think it was a right side in fetal position. So it's obviously being clarified significantly.
hmm,
For,
you know,
for,
and
for
he
him
even
to
sent
come
the
out and say what he
images.
said, I think it will be a clear image, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
But if I were Peter, I'd just get it round the police forces that he works with, and just get some opinions from them as well, maybe about the whole situation. I don't, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I suppose that, they can't criticize their colleagues.
yeah, hi Bum Fluff
But,
Paranormal. Um, but yeah,
oh,
I just hope.
Funky, why no information on police missing person team as well? Yeah, it's there's just so much stuff, isn't there?
There is.
There's just so many weird things going on with Nikki's case. It's just it should be. She fell in the water. The fact that they've got a diving team in that morning, and they should have found her, but they didn't, and that family had to wait, weeks, agonizing over where is she gone? Has she
Yeah, where
been
is she?
taken?
Because there was no
Yeah,
sign of her. There was no sign of her slipping
can
in the
you
water.
imagine what scenarios were playing through their minds while they were waiting?
Yep. And then you've got obviously what Peter found on the 7th, and they still left her in the river for 12 more days. 12 more
It's
days. How can you do that to someone? You know, this is a human being, a mum, a daughter, a sister, a partner, and they left her there for 12 days.
it's the kids, like, because imagine trying to explain that to a kid that mummy's gone missing, and then there would be all the press and the social media people, following them around and trying to get photographs and stuff, and it's on the news and the radio and everywhere you look, basically. And they were old enough to probably go online as well.
Yeah.
So you can
Mum
only
loves paranormals, but I always thought something was not right with this case, and that's what we all did. We all knew something wasn't right. We've
yeah.
never targeted the family because we don't believe that none of that was true. We've always been about how Lancashire police have dealt with this case. And after today, it just shows that trust your gut, trust it, because if something doesn't feel right, it's not.
David Barry is just saying, right side fetal position to, let's get this sorted out for her. This is why we're here, because we want the truth to come out, and this and the family deserve,
The
clear
truth.
answers from the
Yeah, they
police.
just,
There's just a lot being hidden. There's a lot of confusion, and the fact I'd personally be very, very angry that Peter had pointed out that area of concern and it wasn't thoroughly searched,
yeah,
because if they don't, it's quite clear, really. If they'd searched, they would have found her.
yeah.
So they obviously didn't. And I'm
There
not.
was that.
I hate criticizing police divers, because bloody hell, I could. I suffer from claustrophobia. I couldn't go and underwater with oxygen and do what they do, and go under murky canals and everything. I've got so much respect for them, but I don't know what happened with Nikki's case, because I just can't believe that it took so long to
Yeah.
find
No,
her.
you can't argue that the job they do is fantastic. The job that they do
Yeah,
it's hard. You know, seeing
I couldn't do it.
seeing some of that stuff, that the stuff that they see, and have to deal with. Yeah, I couldn't do it. But the fact that it's just this certain police force, we can't blame every police force. There's been stories in pretty much most. There's that one that met in London. What happened with that police
Oh,
officer?
the girl that got raped and
Yeah,
killed.
she got found somewhere I used to live. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
um,
That's on your doorstep, isn't it,
when you
really?
hear stories like that, it does make you question. Can you really trust them? But you
Yeah.
know,
But the reason the reason I suppose I feel close to Nikki is I'm 2 months older than Nikki, so I'm the same age virtually. I'm going through similar things, like, perimenopausal. It's not fun. Um, I've got two little girls. I've got my dogs. I take the dogs out for a walk after school. I've got a really, really similar routine to Nikki. So if I go missing, I just pray to God that people search for me and find me, so that my family aren't suffering and worrying about where am I. If I have drowned, I'd pray to God that they find me quickly, and give my family that closure quickly. Or if something else happened, because all sorts of scenarios are going through my mind. I thought she's been taken somewhere, and because the police were very quick to rule that out,
yeah, I
and
don't know if
claiming.
people have seen this case, but there's been a lad that went missing after a car accident in Rochester.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bless his heart.
So he went missing July. There was all searches going on, and they could never find him. They found his wallet and stuff, and then it turns out that 2 months after he went missing, he washed up in the Netherlands.
It's crazy. How on earth does he get over to the Netherlands from the UK?
Yeah. So
From
he
Rochester
was in
to the
Malta. So
Netherlands.
it's come out a few weeks ago. It got released that he was being found in Netherlands because it's taken them over a month to try and work out who he is. But so there's 4 weeks in a month, sometimes 5. So you're looking at 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 weeks.
4.33333.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that. It's 8 to 9 weeks for him to travel from the UK all the way over to the Netherlands. 3 weeks it took Nicola to travel a mile.
That's crazy, man. It's so you just wouldn't expect that a missing person would roll up in the Netherlands. That that beggars belief. And his poor family.
It's like, I know it's
Just,
different because you've got the seawater. It moves faster and stuff like that.
yeah.
The
The river that he went into must have been.
Yeah.
Was it a really tidal river?
Yeah. The river like the rivers down here, they're huge compared to the River Wyle. So
Yeah.
like our rivers down here are more like the River Ribble. So I understand it's different tidal movements and stuff like that, but how far away is the Netherlands? The Netherlands is miles, and it took him 2 months. But I'm just using this as like putting this out there so people see the grand scheme of it took 2 months for him to travel that far, and it took 3 weeks for Nikki to travel a mile.
I was involved with a search locally. It was actually one of my friend's sons who is just a little, bit younger than me. It's a dad, and he went missing, and he had a couple of mental health issues and everything, but he'd been gone for a long time, and I just decided, thought, I'd hope to God, if one of my kids went missing, or my friends would go and look for my kids. So I went out and looked for this lad, and on the day when I went out, the mum was getting frustrated because the police weren't doing anything. But fair play, when I went out, I've seen they had the drones in the air, and they actually found him. Unfortunately, he was deceased. He'd basically, I think he'd probably become hypothermic, with the weather and everything. So it's so sad, so sad. So things happen all the time. They're not always publicised heavily, but it's just as sad for the families.
Yeah,
It's really it's
is.
gutting.
And it does make you think, if you ever was in this situation that, Nikki's family have gone through, or anyone's family has gone through, you would hope that everyone out there, the professionals that you trust and put all your trust on, you trust that they're doing everything they can. And it clearly shows, and it's come out to show that Nikki's family have been seriously let down.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It like she was like basically hidden in plain sight, really, wasn't she? Because if she was in that area all that time, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Peter Peter pointed out the area with the sonar, detected her, and
shall I put that picture up again?
Yeah. We've got the map of the area, which is just for anyone that's just joined us, which shows
This is
where the bench
actually
is.
a
And then,
picture that we took when we went there. Okay. So the bench.
oh yeah,
Can you see it on the screen? Because I can't see it now. I've come off it.
yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Right. So the bench area is in this bottom right corner. So that's the slope, and this is where they believe that she fell in. Okay. And Peter, around the 7th of February, was scanning here, and this is that little island or tuft of grass, and that's sticking out of the water. So here is where he got the image of the shadow of Nikki in the water. I put across there just so you can see the little island. Coffee is saying that he believes that Nikki got put there on the 18th. I don't believe that she got put there on the 18th. You know, I do believe that she did die of drowning, but it's how she ended up in the river. That's the one thing I really question.
yeah, just for the sheer fact that she's so familiar with that area, she knows the risks, and I just don't think somebody who does that walk every day is going to succumb to just fall into the river.
Let me zoom in on that actually. Oh, wrong one. Where am I?
But she remember what they said in the autopsy as well. She had that cut on her face, didn't she? She had a cut
Bridge of
across
the
the bridge of the
nose.
nose, and it went over to her eye.
Yeah.
And it was quite deep, and I think it was deep that the bone was showing.
Yeah.
It was really. I'm so sorry. I don't. If anyone's disturbed by this, just go past, because I don't like being
So
graphic. But
PC
that's
Thackeray, when he done the when he was at the inquest and he showed his video off that he done, so he was saying that obviously you can't climb up these sides of the bank because it is a drop there. But if you look here, it's hard to tell because obviously the light, but that seems like that's easy enough to pull yourself up on.
yeah.
But then he was saying that obviously Nikki wouldn't have been able to swim across against the tide because it's such fast flowing river.
Well, use this picture as an example. Does this look like a fast flowing river? Have you got that video that I sent you?
It's on my phone. I have to move it to the PC.
I was just gonna say, if you've got that handy, show that because that is a fast flowing river.
Yeah.
And that one, I look at that river and I can hardly see a ripple on it. It's just really, really calm.
Yeah. Let me
And
see if I've
it's
got.
just meandering slowly across. We went there. That's near the area where we saw the swans, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just seeing if I've got a video of the river when we was there. I'm just trying to find the one that shows that area. No, that's not it. You can hear the wind in the background on though. It's that windy the day we went there. No.
Oh, it was it's so beautiful in that area.
Ah,
I was absolutely breathtakingly shocked by how beautiful and calm it felt, and I can really understand why Nikki chose to go there.
right, I found a video of that exact area. Let me just try and share it. Oh,
Coffee. Did she have a boot off? Did you say in a sock? Because I hadn't heard that.
They did say that she's got had grass stained foot.
So maybe
Right, I've got the video. Can you see it?
because she had like they were like ankle length, like Wellington style shoes, weren't they? And she had a big pair of thick socks on.
Yeah. So if you can see by this river, when I pan round again, I think I might be walking in the wrong direction. Let me go back. There's hardly no movement. If the only movement we can see in this, if you notice, it looks like it's flowing backwards. It's flowing upstream.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look
So
like
that's a
it's
little
flowing
brick
downstream.
house.
So
On the right is a brick. I remember seeing a brick house.
yeah,
And that would have been that's basically the area, isn't it, where the sonar detected.
yeah. But there's just no movement.
And the thing is, it's so windy as well.
Yeah,
So and there's like lots of like trees growing it over it into the river as well. Like to snag.
it's called an eddy flow going backwards.
Oh,
But
is that
yeah,
what it's called?
yeah,
Oh, Frankie. Yeah, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
We
Thanks.
done that as well, Martin. I
Oh,
don't think I've
hiya,
got that.
Martin. By the way, big shout out to Martin. I know Martin's been following the case a lot.
Yeah,
Spoken to Martin on chat a lot, and you've done a lot of work and research. I know. What are your opinions on this, Martin? Because a lot's happened today. There's been my opinions on things have changed a lot after
yeah,
hearing things today. I'm really disappointed with the police report. I think it's like they're marking their own homework. I scan read, and I went through it all, and it was just
did you go through it all?
I didn't manage the whole lot, but I'm
I
on.
was gonna say, it
I
took
got
me
some of the
ages.
key points, and it just seemed to be kind of up in Lancashire Police, and they did this right and this right and this right, and I don't think you know I felt it was biased.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the video quickly, if I can, of when we chucked the log in
Yeah,
the river.
because that shows the flow of the river, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Quite well.
I've got so many folders and that here though. It's just
There's people in our team, guys. Honest to God, I think collectively we've spent hundreds of hours investigating stuff. Obviously, one of our team went and sat through the inquest, and it's because we all feel like an affiliation with Nikki, and we've all got alarm bells ringing.
yeah, definitely. It is, you know, this actually did touch us because we've all sort of we could all relate to Nikki in some sort of form, and that's
Yeah,
why it's kind of touched all of us because we can, I'd hate to think of me being left there.
yeah. It's the suffering of the family, collect and the friends, worrying about what's happened, and I I lost a cat, and I was going out every night looking, um, you know. That's just like one of my animals, but I wouldn't rest until I found the cat. Literally, I had posters up, because I was so worried, and um, in the end, it was a man from the graveyard spoke to me, and he said there's a lady that she goes around with a shopping bag and she collects cats in a shopping bag, and she keeps them in a shed. And I said, do you know her? And he said, yeah. I said, well, do you mind asking her, can I have my cat back? And then the next day, my cat came home.
Right, I
How mad is
found
that?
a video
But
of us doing this sort of experiment with the log. Obviously,
yeah,
we was trying loads of different stuff, so this might seem a bit silly, but as you can see, we're up the top of the bank. We've got like a fence pole, and we just wanted to see whether it would, you know, kind of slip down this steep slope that they said. So we was trying to do that. So we was trying to act it like it was not a person, but you know, someone that's standing up and falls, to see whether it would go down. I don't think we've posted this one before.
I haven't seen this one
no,
before.
We didn't, no. So we tried pushing it, it didn't go. And then we tried to roll it down the embankment. Bearing in mind, this is round. It stopped. I know it's a bit obviously grassier that day, but this is April the 11th.
Yeah, I don't think it's that far off, really. You know what it would have been like that day.
You know, we've had a lot of rain the day we was driving up. You can see the river's a bit darker. Yep. Look, and it's just not going. Look, how many times we've had to kick that down for it to even move. And then,
oh god, I'd be like really bothered going to that area.
Yeah, she got it stuck, so I had to get down close. But you can still sort of see the bottom there, yeah? And it's got in. Look where it's going. It floats to the left.
So that's upstream, isn't it? That's
It's not even. It's not gone out to the middle. It's come back on itself and it's going up the left. And everything we chucked in, I think you can see some of our other stuff up in that reedy bit here.
Is that the brick house there on the right hand side?
Here, but here we've been chucking other stuff in, and this is always where it's landed. Everything. It just floats to the left. I had to. Sorry about looking at the ground here, but obviously I had to look where I was going because me and Rivers. But you could see that.
Fair play to you for doing it and going that close to the river. That was.
I was having panic attacks on some of them. You'll see it again in a minute. See it? Here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So it just seems to sort of stay there in that sort of curve, doesn't it?
But it hasn't, like, you know, so the way that PC Thackeray was saying that she's fallen into here and straight away she's just floated out to the deep part. But everything we've chucked in, we're not saying that a log is a person before anyone says it, but Peter Faulding done this, we found out afterwards, that he done exactly the same. He chucked a stick in and it floated this way.
Just from a personal level, Peter is a really lovely guy. Yeah, you know, I've been following him. You know, on he posts a lot of videos on Facebook, and you know, tells people posts what he's up to, and you know, he's always busy. Luke, who interviewed him, did another video where he went and I think he stayed over with Peter Faulding, and you know, he's playing with all the equipment and. You know, and going around all the animals that Peter's got and where he lives. He's got llamas and a zoo there, basically.
Yeah.
So it looks beautiful.
You can see that there's been heavy rain because of how dark the river is.
Yeah, Yeah, it's
Okay.
muddy, really murky there, isn't
Yeah.
it? It wasn't like
But
that when we went, was
yeah,
it? We went
we
there in
tried it. We tried that with this log. We tried it with I think Joe grabbed a tree trunk. Oh, Chloe, yeah, our daughter. Sorry, she literally dragged this huge branch. I think that's the photo we have shared, a video we have shared of this massive. It looked like a tree trunk. It was big. It was heavy. That done the same, and then we had like half a tree with all the leaves and that on it. So something could have grabbed the the current could have grabbed like the top of the tree and then pushed it the other way. My sister was helping her. Yeah. We was all there. We must have chucked so much in that river that day just to see what happened, and it all went the same way. Yeah, my sister-in-law, Joe's sister, come over for a holiday. She was there helping us as well. Let's see if I can find the other one.
But Martin's saying that Peter said he chucked a stick in and in the river and it didn't move for 25 minutes. I
Yeah.
believe that because we went there in June and obviously we can't compare it to like in the middle of winter when Nikki went missing, but that river was beautiful. It looked quite clear that day. We'd had rain, hadn't we, before, but the river where the bench was, you could see the stone like at the bottom. So if you were to go in, the first thing you'd find would be a stone kind of ledge, and then you go a bit further, and then I think there's a bit of a sheer drop where it gets deeper.
Yeah.
Because I could see the outline of the stone when I was stood near the bench area looking at the river.
I've lost my account now. Where is it? But yeah, we've tried so much experiments there because we wanted to see what it would do, and it was busy. It was flowing a lot quicker that day. But it was interesting, I must admit. I know we'll probably get people going, but a blog isn't a person. Doesn't matter. It's the flow of the river.
It's just to demonstrate the flow of the river in certain parts, isn't it? Because obviously, a log it won't sink into the water, because by its nature it floats, whereas us humans don't do that naturally.
No, we sink.
Yeah. Just to raise awareness, by the way, if you do fall in a river, the advice is to lie on your back and relax and take some nice deep breaths of air, because obviously the air keeps you buoyant and above the water, and calm down, and then obviously just trying not to get too scared and shocked, and then decide how you can get out of it, because the way people drown because they panic. That's the tendency that that's what I've heard from people who deal with deaths in water. People will drown in the canal when they could simply stand up, but because they've panicked, they've drowned.
Yeah, right. I've just found the one. We have showed this one, but just to remind people. So I found the big log. Right, can you see it? So you can also see here is the big bit of tree that we chucked in. It's only thin, but it's longer. So it's all gathering up here. So this one, we've chucked it in. You can see how big it is. It was heavy. and again, it's flowing up the left. And it actually stayed there for about 30 to 45 minutes before it actually come back on us and went downstream. You can see that I'm just checking to make sure I'm safe before I move.
Fair play to you, like doing that, like because I know you've got that phobia of the rivers and things, but to my mind, I wouldn't classify that as a fast flowing river.
No, no.
Guys in chat, what do you think? Do you think that's a fast flowing river?
And that's where it gets stuck. Literally there for about 35 to 40 minutes before it comes loose. So
it's got stuck in a tree there, hasn't it? And
it's not actually that deep there. I was down here getting photos. So here you've got like it kind of the where the tree's fallen down, you've got like the roots. And I was actually stood there having a look around, and it's not actually that deep. Yeah, it's going to go deeper.
Yeah, there's a lot of sandbanks in that river because obviously it's tidal, and when it floods, it brings up a lot of sand. So when we were walking around, I noticed because the river's quite curvy as well, there were quite a few little sandbanks. Because you go further up to the top field, there's quite a big sandbank, like a kind of like mini beach.
Yeah. Right, how far from the bench did you find the jacket and gloves and cable ties? So that was literally where Nikki was found. Give me a second. I can get the image up of that. Yeah, that was literally where she got found. So.
And Coffee's asking how come there was no footage of the car parts. Yeah, I don't think the police are not releasing any of their evidence, really, are they? That
No.
They haven't made that public. I don't think that was shown at the inquest either.
Right. So can you see it? Yeah. So this is what the rope we found. Wait, it's more of that strapping that goes around pallets. Okay. And this is where Nikki got found, bless her. Yep. So yeah, bless her.
Was that photo taken then after Nikki was recovered?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm wondering because it had been left by the police. Like when they're unloading equipment. To do a recovery, could it be just been left by that?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is the stain that we was questioning.
Yeah. I think it is dodgy finding that in the vicinity where she was found.
Yeah. Well, you'll see how much footage we've got on this in a minute. So yeah, this here. So this is the wall, and that's the reeds where Nikki got found here.
What's that? What did you notice the mule on the other side?
We were literally we wanted to lay some flowers, so we laid some flowers down there. And that's when we found it, because we walked along, we walked all the way from the bench area up to here, and that's when we found the coat.
Bless it. Oh, it really breaks my heart to think of her. Just
the coat that we found.
Wow.
It's
Because
one of the
that looks
photos.
like a sort of like it possibly like a gilet type
Yeah,
padded jacket thing.
there. And half of it's missing. Like here, you can see
Yeah.
the holes in. Yeah,
Is that what Armchair Detective was calling bin bags?
yeah, yeah. So it's a
Oh, that
night
was really
jacket, size large, but you can see, look, it's filth, absolutely
yeah,
filthy. So this is what he said was some sort of chain, but you can clearly see that it says Nike.
yeah. No, I find it funny. It was like basically what happened was Armchair Detective asked us, can he use our footage for his channel? So we were like, yeah, that's fine, as long as you give credit where it's due and everything. So he puts it on his channel, and then he starts referring to the coat that becomes a bin bag. And that strip and that Nike on it's a chain, and he just made all this narrative up, this conspiracy theory about the information that we shared with him, which was funny but annoying, wasn't it?
We have got an image that shows you how far away the jacket was to where Nikki was found. So here. So this is where the jacket is. You can see it. Oh, just clicked on it by mistake. And Nikki was found here. So jacket and where Nikki was found.
Gosh.
And that blue strap was found around here.
Because that Nike strap, it looks like it, it's a trimming it, maybe from a pair of like leggings, or
Yeah.
um that goes around the band of a jacket.
But yeah. It's not far apart from each other.
Yeah. Oh, bless her heart. It's horrible, isn't it?
Even looking at that, it just makes my stomach turn. There was something I wanted to show you actually. There was an image that showed you. Is it this one? How clear? Well, you can sort of see, like it's light here and here where the shadow is. That's where it starts going down deeper.
Yeah, there's like that ledge
Yeah,
kind of structure, which is made out of stone, and then it would be a bit of a drop after
yeah.
that.
So
You could
here's
go a
the
few
drop.
meters out.
Yeah, I did try to dangle my GoPro down, but it just kept spinning around, so I couldn't. It wouldn't work. There was another one here. Look, there you go.
Wow. So you see, that's really clear. You can see all the stones and the structures of the stones there. So
Yeah,
how could they not nobody see?
this is what I'm saying because I see
Nicky?
he's. I know here you could like if you fell in, you could lose your balance if you like say landed on the edges of these rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could lose your balance, right? But you still by that point you kind of know you're tumbling down and you can prepare yourself if you know what I mean. It's not going to
yeah,
be one huge cold water shock because your feet are going to go in and then you're going to tumble backwards, which you would be able to prepare yourself for. That's
That's it.
my way of thinking.
You probably likely to sort of attempt to stand there, probably like twist your ankle or something on those
Yeah,
stones, and then maybe fall over as a result.
yeah.
But you'd be able to climb out of there
But if you, because they
if
were
you
saying,
held on to the grass.
yeah, if they were saying that she fell in, banged her head, there would have been evidence of that at the inquest. Because if she fell in head first and whacked her head on one of these rocks, there would be damage.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? So if she did fall in head first, there would be injuries to
yeah,
her skull. So she hasn't whacked her head on one of these and gone unconscious. She's obviously fallen
yes,
in a
yeah.
different way.
That was clear from the autopsy that her skull hadn't sustained any damage. The only damage was like to skin level, and she
Yeah,
just there was a cut across the nose and over to her eye. But bearing in mind she's been in the water as well, um, you know that it could have potentially been made worse in that
yeah,
environment.
yeah. So that was the first day that we was there, and the second day is that other picture that I showed you where you couldn't hardly see it because obviously
Yeah,
all the rainwater that we had. But it is like looking at that now, it's hard to
the,
see.
the day we went, it was clear, and the swans were in the river, and you could see the stones at the bottom of the river. It's beautiful there, as all flowers were out as well.
Yeah,
And a butterfly landed on us, didn't it?
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that.
I remember I was taking a video and the wind was blowing a little bit, and the tree branch was just in my way as I went to press play. And as I pressed play, the wind blew the branch out of my way. And it was just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spiritually, while we were there, it just felt like almost as if Nikki was with us, because we were worried about her and concerned and genuine people, and I just felt something. I can't explain it.
So
And then we saw that angel cloud as well, didn't we?
yeah, yeah, that was touching over the inquest. The
That but
final day as
while the
well, wasn't
inquest
it?
was being held, there's a big cloud, and it looks like a big angel. It just came. We just saw it,
I
and
think I've got that one here. Hold on.
my daughter got that photo, didn't she? Bless her heart.
Yeah, I have got that on the computer somewhere. Let me try and find it. Actually, that might be in my folders.
I know some people are like, spiritual mumbo jumbo and everything. Everyone's got their own opinions. I personally, I take comfort from being spiritual. When you lose a person, it's nice to think that they're not fully gone, and that they're still with you in their own way.
So here it is.
Oh
So
yeah, the angel
there's the
picture.
wing, and it goes down, tail, and then there's the other wing. Obviously when you was there, it
In real
really
life,
looked cleared, but here it doesn't really look as clear, but you
it
still
doesn't
make
do
it
it
out.
justice. But yeah,
And then
yeah,
so
yeah.
this is where we saw the angel cloud, and this is where the inquest was held.
That's a building there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh
just
my
that
God.
day it was the last day the inquest had just finished, didn't it? We just went out for dinner. Yeah, and at the end of it, that's what we saw. It just
Oh,
all made us like it just filled our hearts with just so much like good feeling. It's like even on the inquest, she's there.
yeah. At the end of the day, all her family, a mum, a dad, a sister, a partner, they were all at the inquest, and if her soul's going to be anywhere that day, it would be there for sure.
Sarah, that could be
but
how she had a deep cut across her nose and up to her eye. That's the no, they said that was due. They explained that the cut across the bridge of her nose and eye was due to the decomposition stage.
I can't remember them saying that.
Yeah,
So that happens post mortem then.
Yeah, they said that was post mortem damage. And obviously this is not nice to say, but they did check underneath and there was no damage.
Yeah. Oh, bless her heart. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Just I'm really disappointed with the inquiry that the police have done, because I don't think that they fully addressed all the issues that there were. In terms of social media and the media, I think the media should report on cases where there's missing people, because in a lot of cases it's public awareness that helps find that missing person.
Yeah.
And I hope we don't bring any law that, to prevent media or social media or independent journalists. They should be allowed to have some freedom to investigate things, but the police also need to be vigilant, like what Peter was saying, where he was being distracted by the media taking photographs.
Yeah.
And
Lucia said there's a tarot reader channel who said that a very loud train went past while they were reading the statement after the inquest was significant. Yeah, we were there. It was so loud. Literally struggled to hear what they were saying, and that was us stood there. So yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it just brings it all. So even though we've been working like behind the scenes a lot on this, seeing the photos again, it kind of brings it all back after today.
Yeah, it's I hope Nikki's family get the answers that they need to know, because if I were them, I'd be really confused right now.
Yeah, I can only.
And I'd be really annoyed that they've been kept out of the loop. Where Peter's found that image, and Peter just said he was told it's negative, as in we've searched it and she's not there.
Yeah,
but he doesn't seem to, he thinks in hindsight now, having enhanced the picture, that they didn't go and search that area. So it sounds to me like Peter doesn't trust the police, what the police were saying.
Well, doesn't trust Lancashire, especially the way they treated him as well.
Yeah, he was, because he's used to working with police, and they're usually very welcoming, and he's an expert in his field, and he didn't get that response from Lancashire Police.
No, but I just hope, and if you have that, that feeling inside, and you're starting to question things, even just a little bit questioning it, go and speak to Peter. You deserve the truth, and all of you deserve the truth, and more than anything, the girls deserve the truth as well. And I just hope that they do find it in themselves. I know it's going to be hard because it's going to open up a lot of feelings and things again, but I just really do hope that
the family is still healing. But they're still raw, because even though it's been a year, it's approaching the first Christmas without the mum, the sister, the daughter.
It's not
partner.
It's not far off the year anniversary as well.
Exactly, yeah, it'll be Christmas, and then it'll be the first year anniversary. And I I'm the same at Christmas. My partner passed away on 22nd of December. He got ill, and then he passed away in the January. So I hate that time of year. I get upset. I always take the girls out somewhere, to remember their dads.
Yeah, yeah.
The 22nd
It's
of
going to be
December
harder. Like, it's hard for
is
everyone, but it is
horrible.
going to be harder for the girls.
Yeah, for sure. I like they've both got their own way of dealing with it all, and I know they feel sad, and they've had counselling, and well, I've got counselling lined up in the future if they need it in the future, um, so they've got that. But yeah, I dread Christmas, like when they start playing Christmas songs and everything. I heard a Christmas song being played on the radio this week. I know
Already.
it upsets me. I just got a shock from it. I'll be okay. Now I've got my head around that, like, okay, they're starting to do all the Christmas stuff, but that it was a shock, and then it
It's going to take
relates
time.
to, yeah, it
It's
does,
going to.
and it'll take time for Nikki's family as well, because I think they've been traumatized
Mm,
by this. But they've had the bereavement, but they've had all the other stuff as well, and I don't
yeah,
know
they've had to deal
how I
with a lot
feel.
more than any other person in a missing case.
Yeah,
You know, they've had
it's
to
a
deal with
it's
a
a
heck of a lot.
landmark case, because it's just becomes, people all around the world, Australia, America, they're all following the case, commenting on the case. There's YouTubers making videos from the States and Canada and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, so it's a big thing, and I just hope, I'm pretty sure that the kids will have had counselling and stuff, and
but
they've got a lovely family around them. They've got a lovely auntie and grandparents, and
yeah,
the dad's there for them as well. Um, but it'll be hard. It's going to be hard having this, and then Christmas, and then the anniversary. It's going to be a bit of a tough time for them all.
yeah. Peter said normally they were called a cordon would be in place to distance the media, and that's exactly it. After him um, talking to the Lancashire police and stating what he had found, and they went in to dive to search, there should have been a cordon put in place before they even went in to search, because what if they had found her?
Yeah, exactly, because that's going to be filmed by the media and everything, isn't it? There's going to be
Mhm.
cameras all round with members of the public, with cameras. They need, for the dignity of the person, that they do need to cordon off the area, and so, and remembering rivers move, and they might have searched one area one day, but it's possible they, you know, a body can move into an area that's already been searched. So
Yeah,
they should really keep going over, the same areas.
no, exactly.
They,
But
they might just be gridding it all off, going, oh, yep, search there, take the, not taking into consideration the fact that the movement of the water.
no, and
Sorry.
and that's what they were saying in the inquest about PC Thackeray, that he's an experienced diver. Uh, you know, how many years experience did he say he had? It when he said it, I have to look back at my notes again. But when he said
Oh,
how many years experience he had, it was nothing. I
yeah,
think
it
it
was.
might have been 2, 3 years or 5 years. in comparison
Yeah,
to
it was.
things, you've got
He was
Peter
over.
Faulding
He
that's
was
been
on
doing it all his
secondment from
life.
another police force.
Yeah, when Peter's been doing it all his life, he's got 20 plus experience actually diving, but he's been rescuing like since he was a little kid. And then you got 5 years.
He started
It's
off down the
just
mines, didn't he?
yeah,
Peter's, Peter started off down the mines, giving tours and um, dealing with like rescues in the mines and stuff. Because
yeah,
he grew up there, and that's where he got this, the yearning, or the calling, to do this search and rescue role, which he's done all his life, and he's very experienced. He's got the equipment he's got there is phenomenal. If you look at Luke's other video where Luke goes to Peter's house, um, you know that it's they've got everything. It's everything state of the art. It's like the newest technology that's available. Peter will buy it and
yeah. When
he
we
tests
went
it
there
out.
to have a look around, we was
Yeah.
absolutely amazed by the equipment that they've got.
Did he give you a tour of all the
Yeah,
equipment when you were there? Oh,
yeah, we
he's.
like
I'd love to meet him. I've got his book here. And
yeah,
I was just
like the
reading it,
operation.
thinking,
They've got their own operation room as well. It's just like it's so organized there. They was doing all tests on the equipment when we was there. Yeah, they gave our kids a life jacket each because we was going away on holiday. And
that's another thing with Peter as well. He's emphatic about life jackets. He's given away hundreds of life jackets to kids because he's got the concern about drowning, and he feels that if your child's playing in water, a lake or the sea, just pop a life jacket on and it keeps the head above water, and they won't, if they get into trouble, they're not going to drown because the head's above the water.
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, they're amazing because we went out on a lake there, and I was literally, my son was floating. I was laying on top of him, and it was holding both of us up. And I'm not tiny. I'm not going to say, I'm not light and tiny, and it was still holding both of us up. He loved it. He thought it was so funny that
The life
his mum was
jackets
laying on
Peter's
him.
got are really like the best quality ones. I've got life jackets here for my kids because
Good night,
they do.
Coffee. Thanks for joining.
Oh, Coffee, thanks for joining it. It's nice talking to you. Thanks for contributing and everything.
Yeah,
It's getting across. Did you see what time it is now?
I
Like, oh my
know
god.
we can't stay late tonight. It's school night.
Yeah, gosh, it won't be in the morning tomorrow, trying to get up with the kids. But
Oh, nightmare.
today has been just horrendously, I could just call it confusing.
Yeah.
I was expecting some answers today, and I think I've got 100 more questions.
Mhm.
And
It answered some of my questions. Like, now I know for sure that they was let down by Lancashire Police.
yeah,
Um, so it's confirmed that, but at the same time, so it's closed one door, but opened up a million more.
yeah, yeah. And
What does everyone
I
else
feel sorry.
think? Do
I
you
feel
agree
sorry
with
for
that?
Peter being used as a scapegoat. He has been through a horrendous time, with the criticism he's had, um, and the failings not with Peter. It's with the the Lancashire Police.
Yeah.
And so like Peter's been like the fall guy, hasn't he?
Yep.
Um, I imagine knowing that though. Imagine he's got these images, and then because people are criticizing him for sitting on it, but he couldn't. go public with it because
No,
from a professional level, if he did, um, he wouldn't get any more work again
no, he had to
because
stay professional. And I know it's horrible, and I know people are just saying, well, he should have just done it. It's not that easy. You've got to think of
no,
that's the other side of things.
because
You know,
the
if he'd
case was
just ended
there
up,
was a gagging order back from the coroner, wasn't there?
yeah,
The
you
coroner
think,
had put a gagging order.
yeah, there was a
Um,
gagging order on all the media.
yeah. So
So,
if he's gone out and said what he'd found, um, he'd be breaking that gagging order that the coroner had set, and he would have probably had repercussions for that.
and he would have lost
Um,
his career.
yeah,
So he
well,
had
that's
to
it.
be,
Yeah,
he
because
had to do it when everything was done. And
that's,
that is probably why he released it exactly the same time everything else come out.
yeah, it was that literally as soon as the inquest from the school of policing came out, that was the day he was allowed to speak, and that
Yeah,
he's chosen that day, hasn't he,
yeah. And
to
he
do
did
it.
say that he asked the information to be passed on to the family before it all come out. So I hope whoever was meant to have passed that information on did. So they was aware of it. But you just can't trust it nowadays, can you?
It's yeah, like it's pretty obvious that Peter doesn't trust Lancashire police. That they've got some issues, and I think the way that he's been treated by them is disgusting.
And God forbid
Um,
if anyone else was to go missing up there in the same circumstances.
this is what I keep thinking. What if that was one of my mates who's gone missing, and and then bless her friends are all like speaking up for her and saying, find my friends, and then because they're in the public eye, they're getting people looking at the financial affairs and going on company's house, and I just can't believe what's gone on there. Really, it's been
Good night, Sarah.
unhelpful. It's been unhelpful for Nikki's case, hasn't it?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We will. It's just been so I know it's been a long time since we last done one. Um, but we was just trying to get all the information that we gathered from the inquest.
Oh,
Um,
sorry. I'll just say thank you. Oh, you've been amazing tonight.
yeah,
You've made some really, really great points. I really appreciate you coming on. And well, I think we probably will do a follow up
yeah,
because
because we haven't covered everything, and we
no,
still are working through the inquest stuff.
yeah,
Because there was
we
lots of
want to do a
notes written
timeline, don't
down.
we? As
Yeah,
per the inquest when which is completely different to the one that the police published.
yeah,
You just
but
may as well rip the one that the police publicised and put it in the bin, rip it up,
yeah,
because it's completely wrong.
yeah. So we're going through our notes of what was written down. Putting it into place. We've got
Yeah,
this other report to read all the way through, so we will be doing another live soon, and we will now try and be a lot more active. It's like we had our holiday, and then once we got back off holiday, the kids were going back to school, and
oh,
then
I know.
yeah,
I lost my nana, didn't I, as well? So
yeah,
I was out of action for a bit
yeah,
with that as well. But it's we behind the scenes, like we're talking to each other and we're sharing information
yeah,
all the time. It's
yeah,
literally all the time, and we have got a Facebook page, and we do share a lot of information on there. And if anyone wants to go onto the Truth Finders a Facebook page for a look, feel free, and we're happy to have a chat. That there's some amazing stuff shared on there as well.
yeah. And if you want to contact us privately, we have also got our email address. I will put it back up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. put it back on the screen. So if you do want to contact us privately with anything,
So it's
we've always got that
truthfinders
983.
93@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Some people might not want to express their feelings publicly, and we're just happy to talk to anyone. If anyone's got information that it might be helpful, or it just sometimes you might want to just talk about it privately, and not be out there, and just we're there for everyone basically.
Yeah. But we
But
just hope that
I my thoughts are with Nikki's family. I really, and her friends. Those right now, right today, those are the people I am most concerned about, because I don't know what will be going through their minds today.
thanks, David. You are good. We don't hear enough of you on here. Thank you. Good night. I know
Oh, thanks, David Barry.
it has been a funny few months, but we are still committed to getting the truth out there, and we are working hard.
We just don't want to come on and just repeat ourselves all the time, and we're not a monetized channel, and we just, but we genuinely care about what's going on. We're here
Night,
because we
Lucia.
feel the police have really
Thank you.
let Nikki down and her family down.
Yeah.
um
And that's why we're doing it. We're not doing this for anything else. We just literally, we feel for the family, we feel for the partner, Nikki's partner, and we feel for those little girls. So that is why we're doing it, because what made me angry was the menopause comment that they brought out.
Oh.
I was like, how dare you make women feel like that is going to, everyone's going to be like looking at it. If you go through the menopause, you're going to.
I has a rant about that, didn't it? Because I was just saying it's like it's a natural thing. Every woman will go through the menopause, and it is
Cheers,
not
Funky.
not nice. I'm the same age as Nikki, 2 months older than her, and I'm perimenopause as well. I'm open about it, and it's horrible. You have hot flushes. You feel like somebody's doused you in petrol and set you on fire. It's just, you just get a sudden, like, you feel like you're burning up. And it happens, like, when you're shopping, and it's embarrassing. People are like looking at you, because you really, it's painful. It's a horrible sensation. And I'm dealing with my GP about going, on HRT as well. I've just got to look at the options, and I'm still at that stage. But it just big shout out to every woman out there, because we all go through a tough time, don't we? And for the police,
men go through tough times as well, and this
yeah,
is what,
to be fair, they have their
and this what annoyed me the most about it was the fact that it's another thing that we have to turn around and say, and normalize it. Every woman goes through it, and just because they are going through it doesn't make it any less important.
It doesn't affect the risk factor of anything, in terms of mental health or anything. It's just your body's changing. It's like teenagers go through puberty, and then as you get older, men and women, we start aging, and it's just part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to use that as an excuse, where it's something that's natural, it's nature doing its course, and to go and publicize that, I don't know what. To me, when they said what they said about the drinking, and then she's menopausal, it was almost like they were trying to steer everyone into thinking that Nikki's unstable.
Yep. Yeah.
She wasn't, and
No.
it was very, very clear from what a family said in the inquest and what a GP said in the inquest. Nikki was very stable. She was very switched on. She was a professional. She loved the job. She was happy to be going back to work again. She'd worked, I didn't realise this, but before she had her kids, she worked in the mortgage industry, and she went back, but you have to do your banking exams again to get, you requalified because things change. So she'd worked really hard to get all the qualifications up to date. So she was happy. She was looking forwards, and that's not what the police were putting out to the public.
No. Kenneth Richardson, did anyone read the Lancs post about Peter Faulding told police after he found 6 minutes what he found? Yeah, he found a shadow. He's had it enhanced now, and he strongly believes that was Nikki that he found. So
he had it enhanced around the time of the inquest, in preparation for the inquest, assuming that he would get called as he normally does, and then he was shocked and very angry that he didn't get called, because he plans to show this image at the inquest.
Yeah,
which I think would be quite helpful to the coroner, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he chose to ignore it.
Yeah, it was his decision at the end of the day.
It is midnight, so
yes.
I sound like Super Chopper there. It's midnight, so we're going to go to bed. We're not going
to... And if you can't be good, be naughty.
Yeah,
so we are going to go to bed. By the way, I watch Super Chopper. I think he's funny. He makes me laugh. I just sit down and chill and watch him. He's funny. He's got a little wicked sense of humour and a little gleam in his eye when he's doing it. It's funny. He makes me laugh.
Yeah. So,
but I love the whole community. Eddie's been making videos, and it's nice to see Eddie back.
Yes.
Eddie Vinyl.
Last one image to share. The reason why we are all here is to get the truth for this beautiful lady.
Yeah. Oh. And Willow. I wish Willow could talk.
Yes, same as if only dogs could. But yeah,
Willow's
that's why we're here, and to get the truth for her family and amazing two little daughters. So yeah, we will do a live again soon. Once we probably read through this report.
Yeah, I
skim read it. Talk about.
It's basically the sugar coating a turd. The police marking their own homework, from what I got the gist of it. But I need to go and sit down and read it properly. But you know when you scan these things.
Yeah, Joe's read 20 pages of it. She's only got 120 more to go.
Oh, go Joe!
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna do that this weekend. I think I'm just gonna sit down and just get it all read and make some notes, because I from what I've seen of it, they admit to some errors, but it's not good enough. I don't think they've looked deeply enough at this situation with Nikki, and then
I was watching the news earlier, and that Andrew Snowden was on there with someone else, and what they were saying, I had to turn it off. It was just riling me up again.
He's becoming quite unpopular, isn't he? Now he's talking absolute nonsense, and he's been called out so many times. Snowden.
I'm surprised he didn't retire before it all come out as well, like Rebecca Smith.
Yeah. That's so. I'm surprised. Well, not, I think, given her situation, I can understand why she's retired. But it's kind of admitting that there's stuff wrong, I think.
Yeah. No, exactly. you know, run
So,
and hide
but
before it all comes out.
yeah, that's it. She knows it. It's good. The shit's gonna hit the fan, and she's gonna get out of the way before she gets
Yeah.
pelted. Because yeah. Oh, but everyone, well, thanks for coming on. And
Yes,
if you
thank
listen
you.
in afterwards, just put your comments in. We're just normal people at the end of the day. We've been following Nikki's case from day dot, um, and we want to be factual about things, and we've not speculated about anything. We're trying to find the facts and get
Yeah,
everything all ready. But we'll come back with some more facts once we've gone through this lengthy War and Peace
yeah. Bedtime reading.
documents. Oh my gosh, yeah, maybe about 4 bedtime readings.
Do you reckon they do an audio
Oh,
copy?
yeah, they put it up on that Amazon on audio.
Yeah, I'll probably hear a couple words and I'll be gone to sleep. But yeah, but we are
But
working
yeah,
hard, and thank you all so much for sticking by us. I know we've not been around for a few months, but yeah, we have been working
it's
hard.
just been crazy, hasn't it? It's been like we've when you've got our kids and families and
Summer
like
holidays.
it's been like one thing after another. I lost my
Mm,
nana, so that put me out of action for a bit, and then and then just it's called life, isn't it? I suppose.
yeah. And then when we got back off holiday, I turned my computer on. It was working before we left. To come back off holiday, turned it on, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't work. So I had to get all of that
yeah.
fixed. So
And my computer and the speakers just have stopped working, so I'm gonna have to work that one out now.
it's still the same here. Still, the technology does not like us, but we get there in the end. But
We
yeah, thank
do.
you all so much for joining us. Yeah, our email is on the screen, so if you want to contact us privately, please do.
Yep.
If not, we have the Facebook page. Just search True Finders. It's the same logo that's on the logo here, and we will see you when we're back.
Yep.
So good night, everyone. Thank you for
I
joining
hope
us.
everyone else sleeps well after this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you again as well. I hope you join us.
Yes. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. You're all lovely. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.